Mr. Saem. I will. Here we go. We'll start with the first one. A building company has a relational database with two tables, customers and quotation. The quotation table has a foreign key. Describe what is meant by it. Well, as far as the foreign key is concerned, you have to relate it towards the primary key and related. So we always say that whenever a primary key is being used in some other table and is being repeated, it's known as a foreign key. Right? So this is the way we describe what a foreign key is. It creates a reference to the other table. Okay? So this is the way it creates a relationship, which is actually known as one relationship to many relationship. One to many is created because of a primary key being related to a foreign. Right? Define the term referential integrity. Referential integrity is actually enforced between two tables. Okay, it's actually enforced between tables. Okay, So why we have to do it? The referential integrity is maintained between the tables. So whenever I have to update information or whenever I have to delete information, it will automatically update and delete it from the foreign table. Okay. Explain why referential is important. Well, I just told you that whenever we want to relate, this is the reason why we do it. So it will obviously make sure that the values in the both tables are the same. Okay, and obviously it will avoid is orphan data. Orphan data actually means is that I have some information in the foreign table, but I have no related information in the other table. Okay, it actually also eliminates redundant data. Now, what do we mean by redundant data? By redundant data, we mean is that if, for example, if I don't have any information in my primary table and I have information in my other table, there's no point of having information in the other table. So that information in the other table is redundant data. Okay, so this is why referential integrity has so that all the information in the primary table can be related to the information in the foreign table. This what is meant by relational database. Relational database obviously means is that whenever we have multiple tables and we can create relationship between tables, okay, which will help us to create queries from both tables. I'm not writing the entire answer, just giving an idea. So we have from both tables and also would help to create reports from both tables, right? So this is the reason why we use relational database. Okay, tables are linked. Okay, the relationship is established, right? And obviously, it also helps in reducing repetition of data. Okay, that's also important. Describe how supercomputers are used to weather forecast. Well, first of all, supercomputers use is big data, which means they have a lot of data, which has been gathered over time, over a lot of time, decades. This big data helps us to create is a data model. Okay, and this data model helps us for the prediction. Then why do we use supercomputers? Because they can actually do is a lot of complex calculations. Okay, so obviously data is gathered with the help of sensors. Okay, and obviously it is saved in a huge database. A number of calculations can be vast calculations are required, which obviously can be done by a supercomputer. Okay, so the more calculations can be done, the more flops can be done, floating point operations can be done, the more accuracy will be resulted in. We'll have more accuracy. Okay, so this is why we need supercomputers. Government is concerned about digital divide among its citizens. Describe how the government could reduce the effect of digital divide and improve access to it. We have not yet discussed digital divide, but I would like to solve the entire topic to help those students who have done this. Well, in this particular question, we have to talk about the gap between people who have the access to modern IT equipment and people who don't have. So their thing is how government could actually reduce the impacts of digital divide and improve access to the services. Government could actually do is provide more internet facilities to the public. It could provide subsidized laptops, PC connections to the public. It could provide subsidies to the mobile phones. Okay, cellular phones could be given to the public. Training sessions could be conducted with public so that this digital divide is reduced. Okay, so the infrastructure of information technology, IT, could obviously need to be improved by laying fiber optics and better internet and more hardware and software facilities and training to be given. Right? Data can be kept secure by using SSL and TLS protocols when it is transmitted over the internet. Describe the use of SSL and TLS. Well, first of all, you need to know is that the websites obviously use SSL and TLS, so are used with different certificates. So they are used as a method of transferring information from the client computer to, to the server. Okay, so TLS and SSL will obviously create a private key and a public key, just like the way we talked about is asymmetric encryption. Okay, so you will be explaining how private key and public key they play a very vital role in ensuring that when you request for a content from the server, you are the user, okay, you for user, and you have a server hosting server. You request for information. How come your private key and public key play a very vital role in requesting the information? And your private key remains with you. No one else can get it. Once you get the information, only you can actually get the information because you have the private key and the public. You have to explain this entire process over here. Okay, so you have to talk about over here as well is that certificate is made. Now, certificate is actually made by the private key. So a private key is used to make a certificate. This certificate is made, and over here, a private key is actually embedded, but it's very much secure because we use over here is a hashing algorithm, and hashing algorithm is quite safe. Okay, you cannot actually convert it back. Okay, so this is how your SSL and TLS question has to be explained over here. Okay, so you have to explain the entire process for him, how the web server will identify itself. Okay, certificate authorities will make a digital certificate, and that will be given to the server. All this has to be elaborated. Okay, only this way. Then we have is a question. There are various kinds of verification. Okay, So, explain why checksum very question used. So, checksum basically does is that it is used for the whole files of data. It would provide is a unique identifier for the data. So that identifier that you have the number is actually used to check the entire data. Okay, it would check that a copy of the file is identical to the original file. Okay, that's how it uses. So it would validate the data has been transmitted accurately. Okay, from one device to the other device. Okay, so it's used for the whole files of data. Right. Describe the method of calculating a system. So it's actually done is it's calculated uh, by algorithms, right? It uses hash functions. I will discuss this with all of you in class. Okay. Okay. Adds a number of bytes, accepts uh, uh, adds number of bytes in a file, and then obviously um, number transmitted at the end of the file. So we'll discuss. Describe uh, these type of malware. So malicious bots are actually okay. So malicious bots would do is that they would take control of the uh, server. They would actually infect the whole computer, right? The central server, and they would do is that they will gather the fake information. They can also launch is a DOS attack, which would actually infect the entire network and block. Okay, so bots actually replicated in such a way that they can defrag a network. Okay, so the most important thing about bots is that they actually replicate. So we have to mention that they will always uh, replicate. Okay, they actually infect a host, right? They would actually take a control of the admin. They would control the server. Okay, they can actually launch DOS attack. Okay, so this is all what you have. A rootkit again is used. So basically, the reason why we actually call it the rootkit is uh, it would actually get an access to the log files of the server, right? And would always hide its presence. So the user is unaware of its presence, but actually it's targeting uh, the computer's operating system. Okay, so root actually, when we talk about root, we are actually talking about the admin account. So when we're talking about the admin account, it's actually trying to take the full control of it. Okay, so and why do we call it a kit? Because obviously it's a software that is going to implement the entire task. Okay, so it's achieved obviously as if it will behave like the administrator. So it will behave like an administrator and obviously hack the administrator account. A virus is a series of instructions that are there to disrupt the normal functioning of the system. They are there to replicate, delete, they are there to um, pass on the information, they would crash the software. Okay, so this is what a virus would actually do. Data can be controlled by direct or indirect messages. Advantages. Well, we actually talked about this one. Direct is more reliable. Okay, it's more trusted. Okay, right. So indirect data includes irrelevant data of people collecting it. So you cannot depend on it. It has to be reorganized. It is not an organized way. Okay. Direct data is more up to date. It is more trusted. That's why. Okay. Direct data could actually eliminate simple biases, which indirect data probably would have. Right. And what else? What else? So, and direct data is collected by the company themselves, and indirect is obviously collected by someone else, and it's not up to date. Right? Maybe you can add more information to this. Sound editing software has a number of features that can be used to edit audio files. Say two, yeah. So, since we have not discussed this on the right now, um, although it's pretty easy. Um, Step two is why audio clusters to remove unwanted data. Obviously, something to reduce the size of the file size, length. State one reason why separate audio files may need to be. We can discuss that when we're done. Discuss the disadvantages of using dialogue based rather than a gesture. So again, it's a very general topic, I believe, not something very complicated. You know what gesture based dialogue this is. So this was it. Okay. So if there's any question, you can still ask me afterwards.